The Enfield Cycle Company Limited was a Redditch company which manufactured and sold many different products such as motorcycles, bicycles, lawnmowers and stationary engines under the name Royal Enfield or Enfield. The company started in 1851 when George Townsend set up a business in Redditch making sewing needles. In 1882 his son, who was also named George, started making components for cycle manufacturers. By 1866 they started selling complete bicycles under the names Townsend and Eckersley. This lasted until 1891 when they suffered a financial collapse. Then in 1892 the company was reincorporated and named Ely Manufacturing Company Limited. In October 1892 the Enfield bikes were announced to the public. The following year the word Royal, after the Royal Small Arms Company, was added to their name, and their trademark slogan, "Made like a gun," appeared. Thus, Royal Enfield had begun. In 1896, they incorporated a new subsidiary company, the New Enfield Cycle Company Limited, which handled most of the manufacturing by 1897. Enfield then diversified into motorcycles in 1901 and motorcars in 1902. Then, in 1906, the motor department was put into a separate subsidiary, Enfield Car Company Limited Incorporated, and established in new works at Hunt End, Redditch. However, after 19 months of serious losses from the New Enfield car business, Ely Manufacturing was absorbed by the Birmingham Small Arms Company. This new combined business manufactured many different items such as military and exploring rifles, soft components and motor cars. The business of Enfield Car was sold to Birmingham's all-day pneumatic engineering, and Enfield Cycle Company took over the Hunt End premises. During the First World War, Enfield supplied large numbers of motorcycles to the British War Department and also got a motorcycle contract from the Imperial Russian government. In the 1930s, during the Great Depression, the company was able to rely on reserves to keep going, even though they were trading at a loss. Sadly, in 1931, Albert Eady, one of the founders of the company, died. Soon afterwards, in 1933, his partner R.W. Smith also died. Then, during World War II, the Enfield Cycle Company was called upon by the British authorities to develop and manufacture military motorcycles and other equipment for the war efforts. To make sure the facility was not vulnerable to the wartime bombing of the Midlands, an underground factory was set in a disused Bathstone quarry at Westwood near Bradford and Avon, Wiltshire, in 1942. Many staff were transferred from Redditch, and a state of prefab was built in Westwood to house them. After the war, the factory continued, concentrating on engine manufacture and high-precision machining, until it closed in 1970. In 1955, Enfield Cycle Company partnered with Madras Made in India to form Enfield of India. This company was based in Chennai and started assembling motorcycles in Madras. The first machines were assembled from components imported from England, but by 1962, all components were made in India. After the death of the managing director Frank Walker Smith in 1962, Enfield was bought by investors Ian H. P. Smith. They then sold Enfield for $82,500 to Norton Villas in 1967. While Norton Villas acquired 33% of the Enfield India, the assets of Enfield's diesel engine division and pedal cycle and spares division were not picked up. Royal Enfield produced motorbikes at its Redditch factory until it closed in early 1967. The company's last new bicycle was the Revelation, which was released in 1965. Production of motorcycles ceased in 1970, and the original Redditch company was dissolved in 1971. The Royal Enfield spare part operation was sold to Veluset in 1967, which helped them stay afloat for 3 years until they closed in 1971. Enfield of India continued producing motorcycles and began branding their motorcycles Royal Enfield in 1999. A lawsuit over the use of Royal, brought by trademark owner David Holder, was judged in favour of Enfield of India, who now produce motorcycles in India under the Royal Enfield name. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel. If you want to learn more about the history of Redditch, make sure to visit us at the Redditch Local History Museum. We are located at 5 Marketplace, Redditch, and are open Thursday to Saturday from 10 till 4